This is the 1959 Santiago International Tournament, a memorial tournament, Torneo de Arturo Alessandri Palma, held from April 20th to May 6th, right on the heels of the Mar del Plata tournament. And 8 of the players here at Santiago also played at Mar del Plata. That was a 15-player event, this a 13-player event. Bobby, not having his best event here, tied for 4th place with 7 wins, 4 losses, and a draw. But this event held from April 20th to May 6th, 1959 in Santiago, Chile. 13 grandmasters and masters from Europe, North America, and South America competed. Well, the tournament was fairly important for Fischer, who has only recently begun to compete in international events. Just did not fare so well in this particular event. And part of the reason, according to this, that Fischer and Hausman, after the Mar del Plata event, kind of went on a tour through South America on their way to Santiago. And apparently, in this event, several rounds, Hausman was playing Fischer's prep, and Fischer was playing Hausman's prep. So, you know. And it's been a long, long trip, I think, for the 16-year-old Bobby Fischer. Well, you guys remember when you were that age, no discipline at all, I'm sure. And, you know, stay up till all hours. Who knows? I'm making excuses for him. Simply said, he did not play the best chess of his life in this event, but he played some pretty good chess. One more game to show tonight, and that is against Walter Ader Hausman, who was born in Chodenin, which is in Czechoslovakia. He was born in 1912, and I couldn't find a death record, so unless he's 111 years old, we don't know when he passed away. I guess it's possible that he's 111. I mean, some people live that long. 111 would be a very, very long life, though. I was looking at some of the surviving World War II veterans that lived into their 100 teens, 110, 111, 112. Walter Ader Hausman, born in Czechoslovakia, but he came to Chile and lived there. We don't know when he came, but we do know he was Chilean chess champion in 1966. With e4, we're going to get a Sicilian defense, c5, knight f3, d6, d4, and once again we get an open Sicilian with pawn takes the pawn and knight takes the pawn. Knight f6 here from Bobby, knight c3, and no surprises, a6, Miguel Najdorf's variation. Bishop g5, pawn e6, pawn f4, bishop e7, queen f3, queen c7. This is the traditional line. Queenside castles and queen's knight to d7 is the main line. Now f5 was played. The book move we've shown on this channel quite a few times, but we'll show it again here. g4, and that's answered by b5, bishop takes knight, knight takes bishop, g5, knight back to d7, pawn f5, allows bishop takes the g-man with check, king b1, knight to e5, hitting the queen, queen h5, hitting the bishop, and queen d8 defending. That is your mainline Najdorf right there. Let's go back. f5, not in the ECO, however. e5 hits the knight. Knight b3 moves to safety. You have to be concerned about bishop takes knight because it facilitates an attack on the king's side. b5, a3, bishop b7. Bot calling for h5 to prevent and preclude the g4 move I just mentioned. But after bishop b7, white did not play g4. By the way, you want to take the knight first and then play g4. But h4 was played. Rook c8, battery attacking the king. Bishop d3 helps to defend in the queenside castle. And now h5, and the king gets out of the battery's line of fire. Knight b6, getting the question mark. Queen b6 preferred to unleash our rook against the knight on c3. I thought knight g4 was interesting, but that's marked inaccurate. Knight d2 was played. Oh, I forgot to move my knight. Knight d2 was played here, and now knight g4. And I still like this move. I mentioned it a moment ago. I like it again. I like putting the question to this bishop here. And here bishop takes the bishop. Now that gets a question mark. Knight f1 is recommended, and that comes with the idea of playing the knight to g3. Actually, to be honest, rook h3 was in my sights, but that's also marked inaccurate. Oh, it changed it to a check mark. So rook h3, viable. Bishop takes bishop was played, queen takes the bishop, and this is really an interesting subtlety here, the bot recommending king takes the bishop. Not the most natural move with queens still on the board, but you do have a bit of a refuge with these pawns, and the f-man can come to f6. And the real point is you're keeping the queen in a more active posture here. Queen takes was played, however, and now knight f1. So, right, he missed the threat of this rook that I mentioned earlier when I was recommending queen b6. And the point is the rook is ready to sacrifice for the knight to rip open the castle. So the way to defend the knight is bishop e2, defending the knight by discovery. That was missed, overlooked, whatever, and rook takes the knight is played, getting a double exclam. Pawn takes the rookie and eats it like a cookie, but it's not enough. Look at that eval bar. d5, queen e2, getting out of the bishop's line of fire, and the eval bar surges even higher. Note that king a2 will be answered by knight a4. Okay. Queen e2 was played. Bobby goes ahead and castles. And now knight a4 is really still on the table because now that's a family fork, isn't it? Bot saying take the free pawn with your queen and get in his grill. Yeah, that's a good move too, isn't it? I mean, maybe you can play knight a4 right away. Let me think about this. He might get cute with, okay, yeah, he could get cute with bishop. Yeah, it's inaccurate here. The reason we castle first is we don't want to allow bishop takes b5. Look at that, right? And that stops everything. Although I can x-ray defend my knight. So that forces a queen trade. And okay, I'm just winning anyway. So it'll be fine either way. If you play knight a4, it might actually force him into this simplification that you'll win anyway. Let's go back. Bobby playing castles, no doubt to facilitate knight a4 at some juncture. The bot recommending that you could have just played queen takes the a-man and paralyze your opponent's king. Well, bishop took b5 here anyway. That's desperation right there, isn't it? And after pawn takes pawn, queen takes the pawn. Well, no, it's defended. Knight c4 then, threatening the fork of the king and the queen. So queen b4, and Bobby says, I'll take that simplification any day, every day. Queen takes queen, c takes queen, knight f2 is played, forking the two rooks. Knight g3, this is catastrophic for white. Bobby doesn't take either rook because the fork is still there, so you don't have to. Leave the fork in place until he moves one rook or the other. So knight takes pawn check, king b2, knight c4 check, now king b3, now knight e3. And on rook d2, only now that the fork is no longer in place, do you take that rookie and eat it like a cookie? Knight takes the knight, d takes e4. Apparently, push the pawn and then grab the e-man with your bishop. But there's no wrong way to win a chess game, is there? Knight g3, bishop d5, Checosaurus Rex, king a4. The only remaining trickle of hope is maybe one of these passed pawns can, well, the c-man's not going anywhere, but you see why he hasn't resigned yet anyway. Rook a8 check, king b5, rook b8 check, king c5, rook c8 check, king d6, knight c4 check, Forkosaurus Rex. King d7 hits my rookie, but I'm willing to make that simplification. And after takes, and bishop c4, Walter Ader Hausman has fight no more. He's just a bishop down, and this passed pawn can safely press forward. It's defended by the knight here. It will be defended by the bishop there, and the dark squares are safe and sound. White resigned. Oh, let me give you the numbers on this game as well. Bobby scoring 92.1 accuracy and just blew his opponent off the chessboard. Even though Ader Hausman did have a decent opening, didn't he? But Bobby just really outplayed him in the middle game in particular. 2750 single game rating for Bobby Fischer. Until next time, guys, I'm going to hang it up now. Have a great day and play some great chess. Bye now.